There are a couple of suspension myths that persist even to this day. I'll call this one suspension myth follow-up. How's that? It has to do with riding schools. If you've ever taken a riding school, especially one at a track, it is phenomenal how you can increase your ability and your speed in just one day, from the morning session to the last session of the day. If you haven't taken a school, you really should. It doesn't matter which one you take. I'm not talking about like an MSF school to get your license. I'm talking about a riding school at a track. All the major ones, I've either taken them or I've taken them and then filmed them, or I've just filmed them. They all differ in some ways, but if it's your first day taking a school, it doesn't really matter. They pretty much teach all the same things, all right? I'll give two notable differences. If you take Nick Einosh, the brainchild behind Freddie Spencer School and the Yamaha Champions School, him and Ken Hill, they're going to teach you trail braking from the first lesson. Okay, first lesson they're going to have you trail braking into a turn, which is to say you're going to brake after you've tipped in to the turn. You're going to continue braking to the apex. Keith Code, first day you're never going to touch the brakes. They didn't even allow you to touch the brakes the first day. There's two opposite ends of the spectrum, but in all other ways, they're going to teach you many of the same things. So regardless of what school you take, you are going to come away a much better rider. That has some really great consequences and some cautionary consequences. One, you're going to be better. You're going to be able to deal with things. You're going to make the correct inputs into the bike to make it do what it should do. Your vision is going to be better. Just simple things like look where you want to go, right? Don't focus on the problem, the car pulling out in front of you. Focus on the solution, the gap where you want to go. Look where you want to go is what we call it. The cautionary consequence of all of this is you're going to ride much faster. Your pace is going to go through the roof. You know, as you approach the sharp end of the stick, it becomes more difficult to go faster, right? The closer you get to light speed, the more difficult it is to achieve light speed because you're getting heavier. So it is with the pointy end of the sport bike stick. For Marc Marquez to find time is virtually impossible. For you, your first day at a riding school, oh my gosh, man, you know, you'll drop 10, 15 seconds a lap. It's phenomenal, and you're feeling great. Motorcycling has never been more fun. So your pace goes through the roof, and if I've seen it once, I've seen it 100 times. In all the time I filmed schools and attended schools and just track time in general. Students at the end of a day, especially at the end of a 2-day school, they're going so much faster, and then they tend to crash. They start crashing. And the response of schools and school instructors, bless their hearts, is to get people to slow down. But in quizzing them and trying to understand, okay, I mean, why then do these people all start crashing? Oh, well, and I would get this, you know, kind of circumlocutional logic about why it was happening. In my professional opinion, and my amateur opinion, and my pro-am opinion, they're overriding their suspension. And it goes back to the suspension myths. A, you can override your suspension. And B, there's an 80% chance that the suspension settings are completely and totally erroneous. And what was happening is their riding ability exceeded the suspension setting and suspension components' ability to cope with the new forces. The faster you ride, the more force you're putting into the bike on acceleration and braking.
I'm being a little bit more aggressive right before the turn, so I'm a little bit harder on the brakes now, on the front brake.
Okay.
It's been a while since I brought it, so might need a little checkup.
Walk around. Walk around. You don't need me to tell you anything. What does that say?
Well, you know what? Oh, okay.
That's it.
I've been moving that around.
Yeah, but you're very close to bottom, so yeah, it feels soft.
With these newfound skills from a riding school, you don't realize it, but your ability to put forces into the bike just goes like that. Even though the suspension componentry might be totally capable of doing so, the settings are so out of whack. A simple one is there's not enough preload in the forks.
With this track, the front end is going to be too soft with the braking you're going to do.
Okay.
So I'm going to change the settings in terms of your fork only for now.
Okay.
And then we'll take a look at the back of the bike as the morning evolves and your skills evolve.
Okay.
And then we'll dial the bike into you.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so this is your preload adjuster.
Okay.
So we'll see where you are and they click. So 1, 2, 3. So we can go every double. 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 26. That's too soft, so we'll go to 30. 1, 2, 4, 6.
And so now you're putting all sorts of braking forces into it. All I have to do is brake modestly hard, and you're going to bottom out the fork. And what happens? Boom. I mean, I remember my first school. When I came back and rode with my buddies afterwards on the street, they were floored. Do go to a riding school. Everybody needs one. But your suspension is likely going to be unable to cope with your newfound ability. That's the cautionary tale of riding schools. Be sure to check out the Dave Moss Tuning app for iOS and Android. There you'll find grundles and grundles of information on tires, suspension setup, and more.